Welcome to CoolDudeClem's Electronic Workshop with me, your host, CoolDudeClem. What you're looking at here is my old studio standard Fisher record player, because I've got a little bit of turntable madness. Well, actually, Bad Edit Pro's the turntable madness man, but as you can see, or probably can't see, it says studio standard right there, although I seriously doubt that this is studio standard. Firstly, I decided to ditch that old BSR turntable that I've got. I'm still going to keep it, but it just wasn't living up to my expectations. I have it over here more or less in pieces, on top of a few other bits and pieces of junk that I'm going to take into the shed. And this thing, well, I was getting a lot of hum through it. And the hum was caused by the motor, which I've got under this piece I've cut out from a Coke can. No matter what I tried to do, that motor just kept putting a lot of hum into the signal and I wasn't having it, so I decided to stop using it. Plus the bearings on it were a little bit noisy. I'm sure they were much better when it was new. The turntable is made out of some sort of plastic, I guess. Could be Bakelite, I guess, or something. And being idler drive, it didn't help any, so I'm just gonna put that in the shed, but not forget about it, and go back to using this as my main turntable. Unfortunately, run into a few problems with this thing. For starters, some of you may remember a bulletin that I posted on YouTube that I couldn't find a headshell for this. What I've done is I've taken the headshell out of the BSR, well, the headshell and the tone arm, and that's where I've run into a few problems. When I put this new tone arm in, even with the counterweight set all the way as far as it could go in, so it's putting as much weight onto the tone arm as it could, it was pretty much still just floating about and not really useful. So I've taped a coin onto the head shell, and I've got the weight adjusted to 2 grams now. And yes, this weight is calibrated. I have calibrated it myself. So don't flame me saying that this is going to ruin your records or anything like that, because it won't. Nice thing about this turntable is it's direct drive, so absolutely no mechanical noise, or very, very little mechanical noise. The only other problem that I've run into, well, problems, because there's more than one, is that there is a little bit of hum. I simply cannot get rid of that. I've done everything I can to shield the wires from hum, you know, putting lots of metal around it and grounding it and everything. There's still a little bit of hum. You might be able to hear it right now because this record player is connected up to the tape recorder that's recording the sound, and I think the tape went a bit funny just there. But the other problem is I'm going to have to do something to the cueing, because if you try to move this to a particular track on the record, especially as you get more towards the center, as you can see, the anti-skating is pushing it back. So that's a bit of a bummer right there. It looks as if there's something that should go into there. There's a groove in this piece of plastic. So I'm going to put some rubber in there. Hopefully that should sort out that little problem. But apart from all those things, this does sound really good. About 10 times better than the BSR ever did. In fact, let me just play a little something. Should be starting any minute now. Here we go. There's the Beach Boys. This is their Swinging 60s album. And you're hearing a direct hookup. No speakers being used. This is the genuine thing. I can't actually hear it myself because I've got the speakers turned off, but you can hear this right now. Anyway, I'm going to stop that before I get into any copyright issues over that. So anyway, that's one little project I'm doing. Another project is I've started work on that DX amplifier. Things are coming on very, very slowly. This is about all I've got done at the moment. The biasing circuit between the 2 driver transistors. But that's coming on. Be doing more of that later on this video. I know what some of you are asking me. Why didn't I just get a new headshell for this record player? Well, the thing about that is, to get a headshell for a straight arm record player, I'd have to order one all the way from the States because there's nowhere locally I can get one. And the cheapest ones I found are about $20, which is about, I don't know, 12 to 15 pounds. And I'm not spending that kind of money on a little tiny piece of plastic with some wires on it. That's ridiculous. Stupid. You want proof? Have a look at this. These are the only straight arm tone arm headshells that I can find. Search the internet, and all my searches bring up these ADC ones. Look at this one. Look at the price of this one. It's ridiculous. $49.95. Again, another one for $49.95. This one, almost £20. I think these prices are in dollars, but it's so stupid. I mean, this kind of thing. Let's just try to get a bigger close-up of that. Oh, I think that's all you're gonna see. I'll just zoom the camera on it. It's ridiculous. Almost $50 for a little piece of plastic. Can you believe it? I'm gonna rant about some other things while I'm here. YouTube is really ticking me off. This is my recommendations, and look what's there. Only 2 videos. There should be somewhat like 16 videos here. And how many videos have I got in my recommendations? 2. What the hell happened? Is anybody else experiencing this? Of course, it would help if the camera was over at it more. Also, the latest Flash player sucks. In fact, I thought there was something wrong with my computer, but it turns out it's the Flash player itself. If I tried to do the annotation links on one of my videos, let's go to this one here about the microwave. This is the previous video. Welcome to CoolDudeClem's Electronic... Shut up, you ugly git. Anyway, I'm going to try to edit the annotations now. If I can figure out where it is, of course. Edit annotations, and look what happens. Of course, it's not even going to play now, is it? See that? There's no way I can put the annotations in with the way this stupid thing's going on. We get to the end of the video. Of course, that's going to take forever, isn't it? See, I can't put the annotation links in because it's all messed up. I can add an annotation, yeah, sure, and I can put the spotlight in with the link, but, you know, I can't... It's impossible to work out where exactly I'm supposed to put it. Because the stupid Flash player, we've got 10... I've got 10.2.152.32 now, and it sucks. Now look what's happened to my recommendations. It's completely gone. That is messed up. Anyway, that's my little rant over with. I just had to let that out. Cassette master, I'm surprised at you. You call a tape recorder a piece of crap. But we forgive you. Now, go on with the thing. This is that Ion Powerplay LP thing, and I'm going to attempt to make this into a proper record player, by which I mean not USB powered, so you don't need a computer to use it, because all this does is just puts your records onto the computer. You just cannot play them in real time unless you do some kind of trick with Media Player Classic like I did, and I don't call stuff like that proper equipment. So I'm going to find a way to make this DC powered, other than powering it from the computer, and I'm going to put a couple of phono jacks on it so it can be connected up to an amplifier. So anyway, I think the first thing to do is find out where the power actually comes into this thing. Okay, we're now looking inside the Ion USB turntable, and I always wondered why this was so light, and now I know why. I mean, really, there's hardly anything in it. This is all that's there, just a little motor, circuit board and a couple of switches, and that's it. And here's an interesting thing. I've just noticed on the motor, I don't know how well you can see that on the video, but the motor claims to be a 12 volt motor. Yet this thing is USB powered, which means it's only going to get 5 volts, so I'm not quite sure what they've done there. I'm not sure if that's a modified motor, or if they've put some kind of DC-DC converter in there to bump the voltage up. But I guess we'll find out. First thing I want to do is find out where that 5 volts comes in. Now I've got this connected up to the computer, so I've got a steady 5 volt power supply. I'm going to put one of the meter's test leads onto the ground, then test these 4 connections. Wherever there's about 5 volts, I'll know where that's the power supply comes in. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, we've got nothing there. That's either a ground or one of the data wires. Here we've got 2.91, that must be the other data wire. This one here. Oh, there we are. 5 volts right there, 5.05. So that tells me that this one in the upper left corner is the 5 volt supply. Oh, and my meter has tried to commit suicide, but I managed to save it. Okay, well it looks as if I found a power supply that I could use. Found a Panasonic power brick. I don't know what this was used for, but the output voltage is 5.8 volts. It's only 400 milliamps, but I don't think that the turntable takes up that much anyway. So there should be a good power supply. I've just got to test it and make sure that it works. Well, the power supply seems to work. Getting the voltage specified that it says on the thing. So that's looking good. I'll put that onto the record player. As you can now see, I've wired in the power supply. And I've noticed there's this little plastic thingamybobby where you can wrap the wire around to stop it from coming out. Anyway, I'm going to plug this back in and see if it's working. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to plug in the power supply. Let's see if it has worked. And yes, we now have power without the need of a computer. Next step is to find out a way of putting an audio output on this thing. As a matter of interest, I want to find out what the deal is with that motor. Now I'm running it now and I've dropped a penny into the thing. As you can probably see, it's turning around there in the thing. Well, could see it if I was shooting the camera at it. So you can tell that it's on. You can barely see the meter, but anyway. I want to see what voltage that motor is actually getting. Because maybe they've put a 6 volt motor in there, but it's still called 12 volt. I mean, that would make more sense, because that's closer to the supply voltage. Let's see if I can find out what voltage this motor's getting. One of these pins must be the supply. Okay, I'll put it across these 2 pins. Wow, would you look at that? We've got about 9.4 volts there at the motor. That's about double of the supply voltage. Let's just check that is what we got here. I'll just put the pin on the meter on the ground. Yes, we got about 9.5 volts there. Even though this is only being supplied with just over 5. So there must be some kind of DC-DC converter in there to do that. Or I just thought they'd have stuck in a lower voltage motor, but obviously that's what they've done. Anyway, the next thing to do on this is to find out where the output is on this thing. Solder a couple of jacks onto that, and we'll see if we can use this, or I'll see if I can use this as a proper record player. Anyway, I'm just about out of time now, so I'm going to be doing that all in another video. But before I go, I thought I'd just update you on the what I'm going to do regarding the DX amplifier. Now this piece of metal here is what I'm going to mount the output and driver transistors on, and also the biasing transistor. That's going to go on like that on this little piece of board so I can adjust it. So I've got two output transistors here. Actually, I've put two 955s on there, but it doesn't really matter. This is just for demonstration purposes. Actually, no, I have put a 3055 and a 2955 in there. So that's going to be like that, and all these all these transistors along here are going to be connected with point-to-point wiring. And obviously I'm going to put all the other parts onto a piece of strip board. Now I know you would have liked me to build a DX Blame ST amplifier, but unfortunately I ordered the parts for a DX Destroyer, so that's what I'm going to be building. But anyway, that's going to be in another video because I'm out of time now. It's getting late, so I've got to go. So until next time, goodbye.